Hello again.
Yes, hi. Welcome back to ROC Movie Reviews. Last time we talked about one of the only other horror films we've talked about on this channel, the first Annabelle.
Yeah,
That was
that
fun.
was trash.
That was pretty bad. If you wanna have a good time, go watch that review.
Yeah.
Today we're gonna be talking about the follow-up that I think came out in
17.
Was it really?
Yep.
Wow. Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, here it is. 2017. This was that it took 3 years for an Annabelle sequel to come
Yeah.
about. That surprises me.
I mean,
Yeah.
It took 3 years for a Conjuring movie to come out, so.
The second one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, but that was worth the wait.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so we're talking about the second Annabelle film, Annabelle Creation. I'm
Yep.
just gonna, yeah.
Janice says she's seen your daughter.
My daughter has been dead for a very long time.
She was taken from us at an early age. We prayed to see our beloved girl again. The contact started small, but then it wanted permission to move into a doll so that it could be with us forever. We said yes.
Your sister is coming after me.
Who?
An evil presence. It's because I'm the weakest.
It's the doll. The devil. Annabelle?
Yeah, so, just like with the same first Annabelle movie, I saw both of these, this one in particular and the first one. I saw them not in the theaters.
Yeah.
I saw them on streaming. I was glad I didn't pay money to see the first Annabelle. This was a step up from the last
Can
movie.
I actually throw something in?
Yes,
I
you can.
actually did not see the first Annabelle in theaters either.
You didn't?
Nope.
Did
But
you
I saw the rest of them in theaters.
Oh, you
Yep.
did? I've actually only seen the third Annabelle in theaters. The first two I did not. And I'm not even sure why. Heard bad stuff about the first Annabelle, didn't bother.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm not sure if I was seeing horror movies in theaters as much.
Yeah.
And the second Annabelle, I heard good things, but then I heard mixed things, and then I guess I just didn't find time to go see it.
Yeah.
So I think somebody, some person of, I think my aunt and I talked about going to see it, and then we never did. So, but this film has a different director. It's still produced by James Wan, but Mr. David F. Sandberg came into the picture. Now, if that name is ringing any bells for you, it's because he did the horror film, the 2016 horror film,
Conjuring 2?
Lights Out.
Oh, yeah.
Lights Out, which is a really good movie, and if you haven't watched it, because it didn't make a whole lot of money at the theaters, we recommend it.
Oh, yeah.
So that was his directorial debut. Very impressed with that. So this was his second big budget movie, and going from John R. Leonetti in the first Annabelle to David F. Sandberg in this film, this is a considerable step up and a welcome, refreshing, if fairly straightforward movie that I actually really enjoyed. I know you don't feel exactly in the same way, but I think we can both agree it's better than the first.
I thought it was only like this much better than the first.
Okay. I thought it was like that much better than the first, but hey, who's keeping track? Who's counting?
Yeah.
So this story is a prequel
Mm-hmm.
to
the first Annabelle.
the first Annabelle. Is it also a prequel to the first Conjuring?
I would assume so.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it is, because we're in what, the 1900? We're in the early 1900s, I think. I can't remember.
I feel like this almost should have been the first Annabelle movie.
Oh yeah, I feel like that definitely. I just skipped the actual first Annabelle movie. Just skip that and have this be the first one because it was so much more interesting. And the period element of it worked a lot better. the element in the first one, you couldn't really tell what the period was because it was just so bland.
Yeah.
And they didn't really do anything to make it look like, oh, this is part of this time period. It's like, no, it looks fairly modern, except maybe a couple of decades ago.
Yeah.
But even then, it was just, you were kind of guessing. I think the first Annabelle takes place, is it in the 90s? The 80s?
I don't remember.
I don't
honestly.
remember. I blocked that entire movie out of my mind, so
I think this one takes place in like the 50s.
I think so, yeah. So
Okay.
this clearly takes place a lot earlier than the first one. And the story goes that there's these orphaned kids
Yeah.
that two sisters, two nuns, I believe. They two or one?
I think 2.
It is 2. They take them to this secluded house out in the middle of nowhere. Now, I believe this takes place during one of the wars, doesn't it?
I think Korean War.
Might have been. Because they were, during that time period, the reason they were going to this secluded house is because they needed to find a place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were, and I think the nuns or the sisters, they got these kids out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
It's actually very similar to the premise of The Woman in Black 2, Angel of Death. Maybe at some point we'll talk about that movie. Have you even seen that?
I've seen The Woman in Black.
The first one.
I think I saw The Woman in Black 2 and I didn't really care for it that much.
Yeah, yeah. Those are 2 other horror films I would very much like to talk about because they don't get enough. They don't get enough.
And they got
airplay.
Daniel Radcliffe.
They did, yeah. That's one of the big reasons why I want to talk about that first film. Anyways, not to get off topic, but the premise of this movie is pretty friggin' similar to Woman in Black 2, Angel of Death. I think this movie does it better. I really think it does it better.
Yeah.
And the second Woman in Black didn't really have any notable stars either.
No.
This has 2 younger actresses that I thought did a really good job, actually.
One of them was in the Ouija Orphan of Evil movie, which I thought was actually a clever move on their part.
It was, yeah. She's also a really good actress, so I thought they did a great job with that. Yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything more to the premise. They go to this secluded house out in the middle of nowhere. It's like a farmhouse. This couple that live there have had a tragic accident with their daughter. Their daughter has died, and you find out that they somehow communicate with her spirit or what they think is her spirit, and
the doll.
The spirit asks if she can move into the doll, and that's when problems start occurring. Yeah, because they so much wanted their daughter back that they weren't thinking straight, and maybe it's like, maybe this isn't actually who we think it is. Yeah, and the main girl, we'll get into casting in a minute, but the main girl who is, I believe she's got an illness, right?
Yeah.
She's crippled in some way. The doll and the spirit of the doll starts to affect her and go after her very violently, I might add.
Oh, yeah.
And slowly starts to overtake her, and while the other young girl has to figure out exactly how to prevent this from happening.
Yeah.
And while that other crazy stuff happens, the husband who lost his daughter, his wife, there's a whole thing with her.
Yeah.
That was very unsettling.
Oh, yeah.
I still don't fully understand what happened, but anyway. And that's mainly the premise of this movie. And like we said, it's a prequel to the first Annabelle. What does this movie have going for it that the first one didn't? It's got the setting. The setting is much better.
Yeah.
It's got characters we actually care about. I cared about the 2 girls, and I cared about...
Well, I cared about the 2 little girls. The other one's not so much.
I cared about the husband and the wife. I cared a lot about the wife, because the wife was going through absolute hell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but I would say some of the other girls that were part of the orphans, they didn't do it for me. They were just like, but they were supporting characters. The main players of this movie, I cared enough about to be like, I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, so getting into casting, Anthony LaPaglia plays the husband who loses his daughter. He plays Samuel Mullins. I've seen him in a couple of other films. He's a character actor.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I mean, granted, I don't think I have anything bad to say about these people. Samara Lee plays their daughter, B. She's only in, I think, the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. And I think one scene in that room that they're not supposed to open the door.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that's when
And lo and behold, they open the door.
Of course. Yeah, there's still some stupid decisions made in this movie, but granted, not nearly as many as in the first Annabelle.
Yeah.
Characters are actually fairly smart here. They're not complete and utter idiots. So that's also a step up in that department. She did a really good job of being a creepy ass kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, she's not in it very long. Child actors can go one way. They can be absolutely terrible, Anakin from Phantom Menace, or they can be really good, such as Noah Jupe from A Quiet Place and other films like Ford v Ferrari. Yeah. One of the greatest child actors of our time right now, or rising child actors. Oh, yeah. Anyway, Miranda Otto plays the wife who has gone through this tragic loss of her daughter, and now she's kind of secluded her way. She's secluded herself away from her husband and from like the rest of the house in general. Yeah. And you don't really know why until you find out later. She's good. She's pretty good. She does a really good job of what she was given, and it's sad what happens to her in the movie, but it was pretty effective. Yeah. I would say. So good job. Yeah, good job. She played Esther Mullins. I'm trying to remember. There's only a couple more people. Talitha Bateman plays the lead girl, Janice. Yeah. She's the one that's crippled. Okay, so I hadn't seen this girl in anything prior to this, and I have to say, I had seen Lulu Wilson, who plays Linda, who was also in Ouija. The girl. She plays.
She was the girl in Ouija Origin of Evil?
Yes, Lulu Wilson. Wow. She's great. Lulu Wilson is awesome. She's also in Haunting a Hill House, is one of the kid characters. Go watch that show on Netflix if you haven't seen it. She's a great actress. Talitha Bateman, I had never seen before, as opposed to Lulu Wilson. She did a really good job conveying the absolute fear, anxiety of being vulnerable because she can't really move her body. Yeah. And this spirit trying to take her over. I was genuinely like, oh my god, this is nasty.
I almost questioned how the spirit didn't get to her any quicker.
I do too. But I think she did a really good job of conveying that absolute terror. And then eventually the spirit just takes her over completely, and I thought she played that really well too. I was like, oh, you're freaky. Yeah. You be freaky. I'm done with you. So, and the scares, I'll say, the scares in this movie are surprisingly effective. The build-up is actually warranted. I like the payoff of most of them. There's some techniques with lighting later on in the movie where certain things happen and certain things appear towards around our characters. Worked really well for me. Yeah. There was like this entity in the barn with a light bulb hanging. I don't know what the heck that was, but that was creepy as hell. That might actually be my favorite scare in the whole movie. Maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I think, is there anybody else? One more person. Stephanie Sigman plays the lead sister who is trying to take care of these girls. She's just kind of there. I mean, in her scenes, she's good. Yeah. Her role is to take care of the children and try to get them out of harm's way.
Definitely.
And for that role, she did a really good job. Nothing to complain about there. I know before I get to cinematography, if you wanted to talk about any negatives, it's still not like this amazing film, like say The Conjuring. It's still very cliche and it's standard, but I like the David.
It's cliche.
What?
It's cliche.
Yeah, it's cliche, but then again, a lot of these horror movies are. So I kind of forgave it because I was like, there's so many. It's like it's hard to be original these days. Yeah. Not everyone can be Jordan Peele or Ari Aster or, oh god, the director of The Witch and the Lighthouse that I'm forgetting the name of.
Or M. Night Shyamalan.
Not everyone can be M. Night Shyamalan either. Yeah. Granted, he's had ups and downs, but not everyone can be those people. I think David F. Sandberg did a really good job of changing it up enough in this story that he made it interesting, and those small little details that he added improved the movie for me. Yeah. So that's really all I have to say. I don't want to spoil too much about this movie because I do want people, you people watching right now, I do want you to go watch it because I think it is I genuinely think it's a good movie in this universe. Can't say that about all of them, but this one I really do think it was. The director of photography, Maxime Alexander, I've also seen his work in other films. What other films? Oh, he was cinematographer of The Nun, as well as Shazam, as well as the French horror film that a lot of people praise, High Tension. That's a movie. The cinematography in this movie is pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say it's a step up. It's not bland. It's not uninteresting like the first Annabelle. It's also not amazing.
Yeah.
But it's doing enough with the atmosphere and the environment that I really enjoyed. Especially the scene with the well.
Yeah.
That was good. That was, oh man, you could hear a pin drop when that music cut out. Whew, baby. Yeah, so Mr. Alexander, well done on the cinematography. The music for this was done by somebody I'm actually familiar with, Benjamin Wallfish. He's been composing for a couple of years now at least. I gotta say, his most notable work for me is another horror film we reviewed on this channel, A Cure for Wellness.
Never seen it.
Okay, we gotta talk about that. I recommend that film because that was another film that bombed
Isn't it
at
like
the box.
super long though?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but it's a ride. There's so much atmosphere to it. It's the director of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, the first three.
Oh, okay.
I really think people didn't give it the credit it deserved, and it bombed at the box office. It was really unfortunate because I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's very creepy. You know Lucius Malfoy from Harry Potter?
Yeah.
He's in it. He's the main villain. Wow, that's some messed up stuff.
Yeah.
It's very messed up. But if you don't mind messed up movies and you like a really, really strong performance from Dane DeHaan in the lead role, I recommend A Cure for Wellness. Anyways, Benjamin Wallfish composed this movie. He composed A Cure for Wellness. I think he has a very distinct sound, but these two scores, Cure for Wellness and Annabelle Creation, they sounded very different, and I think he is successfully growing as a composer.
Yeah.
So, I thought the music was really good in this movie. Like I said, cinematography, casting, story, it's all better than the first Annabelle.
Yeah.
I'm going to score this thing, because we got to move on. I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's better than average, so it's better than 5, but I also don't think it's anything like absolutely mind-blowing like The Conjuring. It's not on that level. But bringing in a new director and dealing with a different story was an improvement.
Yeah. I had opposing feelings about this, but my rating isn't much lower than yours. It's a 4.
Okay. Alright, so you thought it was below average.
Yeah.
Alright, fair enough. Annabelle Creation, I recommend it. I don't know if you recommend it technically. Would you?
I mean, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't recommend it.
I thought a lot of
would.
the scenes are funny.
Well, okay, that's one way of looking at it. That's our review of Annabelle Creation. We'll be back very soon to talk about the most recent Annabelle film, Annabelle Comes Home. And tune in, because we'll see you in that review.
Yeah, see ya.
Take care.